Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
My exclusive conversation with Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani. I sat down with him in Baghdad for a wide-ranging discussion on the nation's economy, oil production, and the region's geopolitical challenges. In this first part of our interview, he told me the time has come for U.S. troops to withdraw from Iraq as the nation moves away from the coalition arrangement to bilateral agreements with other countries.
My government started a government-run program that was proposed to Parliament and put to a vote after the ministerial cabinet presented it. This was according to the constitutional measures. Part of the ministerial program was ending the coalition's mission after the justifications for its presence had ended. Today, Iraq in 2024 is not the same as Iraq of 2014. We have defeated Daesh with our sacrifices and the Iraqi people's position from all of its components and factions, and with the support of the international community and friends, and we do appreciate that. We found that the justifications ended and there is no longer a need for a coalition of 86 countries. We moved from a period of wars to a period of stability. Daesh doesn't pose a threat to the state. It may be part of the security challenges like drug trade and criminal offenses. It's at that level. It's not equal to Daesh now. A group of terrified people hiding in caves, in the desert, in the mountains, and a real threat to security and stability. Based on this vision and evaluation, we initiated a conversation with our friends in the international coalition, and it was honest and included more discussions on various levels and was culminated with my visit to Washington, D.C. and talking to President Biden. We formed a joint committee in August of 2023 between military commanders to start the conversation, and in fact, the committee reached an understanding to arrange for that withdrawal. It was hoped that the conclusion would be announced, but out of our keenness not to mix things or create a misunderstanding about the end of the coalition's mission, the desire was to postpone the announcement, and we hope to announce it soon. And we will take part in an international conference for the coalition against Daesh or terrorism, and Iraq is a genuine member that lead the ranks to face terrorism. Ending the coalition's mission, and this is an important point, does not mean a breakdown between Iraq and the coalition countries, including the United States. On the contrary, at the same time, we are in bilateral talks to build a sustainable security relationship other than the economic, cultural, and scientific and social ties.
You say that ISIS is less of a threat, and yet on Friday, CENTCOM announced that a raid was conducted in western Iraq. U.S. military, alongside Iraqi security officials, killed some senior ISIS commanders. That tells me that the ISIS threat is still there.
Of course, this was one of the quality operations that was executed between security agencies and the international coalition. This is proof that Daesh, or this is proof that the security agencies have reached a phase of capability where they started finding these people in caves, in mountains, in deserted areas, and kill them. This is proof of the level of ability and capability that our security forces have reached. Daesh today doesn't own a land or an area to be in and has lost its incubator, and this is the fundamental win achieved. Following up on the cells of these individuals doesn't mean that there is a real threat. When we used to talk about Daesh, Daesh used to hold areas, villages, and cities. And today, Daesh doesn't have this existence except for these isolated groupings in deserted areas.
There's a U.S. presidential election coming up very soon. What would you like to see out of the next U.S. president, be it President Harris or President Trump?
بالتأكيد نحن نحترم خيارات الشعب الأمريكي
Of course, we respect the choice of the American people according to the democratic process. We will deal with any administration that gains confidence. It's of interest to us to activate the strategic framework that was signed in 2008 and building a relationship based on these principles of mutual interests and respecting Iraqi sovereignty.
President Trump has been historically very hawkish on Iran. Do you worry that a return of President Trump could be even more destabilizing for the region?
Our understanding of the situation of the relationship between Iraq and Iran is based on mutual interests and mutual respect. Iran is a neighboring country, and we share 1,400 kilometers, and it's in our interest to have a close relationship, especially that Iran has been supportive of the political process and our efforts in combating terrorism. Of course, Iraq is the only country in the region that has a special relationship between Iran and the United States, and we try through this positive characteristic to help in bringing opinions closer, and we are interested to have stability in the region, away from the Axis policy. We don't want the tense relationships and the stances of other countries of the world to impact the Iraqi situation. This is our diplomatic effort and movement in terms of our bilateral and regional ties.
Now, for more from my exclusive interview with Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani, the Prime Minister told me his country is fully committed to OPEC's decisions despite not adhering to quotas. During our conversation, he also discussed Iraq resuming oil exports via a pipeline to the Turkish port of Ceyhan more than a year after its closure.
Iraq is an important country in OPEC and OPEC Plus, and we coordinate with our brothers, especially our brothers in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We are committed to voluntary cuts, and there were issues that the brothers understood in terms of the slight increase in production, and Iraq committed to compensating for that, and we began in August of this year. We are committed to the decisions of OPEC and OPEC Plus in a way that protects the price of oil and this balance between the interest of the producers and consumers.
You say that you will start introducing compensations. Where is that going to come from?
We started reducing the domestic production and reducing the exports in a clear way in the oil market.
Can you talk to me about the future of the pipeline from Kurdistan? It's been shut off for several months now. You've talked about the possibility of the resumption of gas going through that pipeline. Can you give us a timeline on it? And also, again, what that would do to your overall production, given what we were just talking about vis-a-vis the OPEC quotas?
Let's understand the problem with the Iraqi-Turkish oil pipeline. The export stopped from Ceyhan after the decision from the International Court in Paris over a lawsuit filed by the former Iraqi governments over exporting oil without SOMO's approval. And then we faced another problem, and that's a legal issue. And they were decisions by the federal court regarding oil contracts in Kurdistan region and the budget law that fixed the average cost of producing a barrel that doesn't surpass $8 for every barrel, whereas fixed production cost in the oil contracts of oil companies with Kurdistan region is over $26. We are now in front of two options only. We either amend the contracts, which is what the companies dealing with the Kurdistan region had rejected, or we amend the budget law, and this requires political agreement. Iraq is keen to resolve this problem. We are missing the production capacity from this strategic, important line, and we are keen on investing in existing oil and the work of the companies. There are ongoing talks with the companies and with brothers in the Kurdistan region, and we hope to reach a solution based on the legal paths that I mentioned.
Could it happen this year?
Possible.
That was my exclusive interview with the Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani.